Hello and welcome to week 2 of What to Do in Star Wars Old Republic 7.0. So if you are already caught up with 7.0 and you had a level 75 character and you're looking to upgrade your item rating past 306, yeah, this is a guide for you. If you haven't had a chance to play since the expansion has dropped, go watch the week 1 video and work on doing it in that order, and then come check out week 2. So your progress and where you're going to need to go next is going to be a little bit different depending on where you're at in terms of your current item rating. So right now, my main character has managed to make 322 Conquest gear on everybody, and I've also managed to get some 324 gear by upgrading pieces of Flashpoint gear that are the cheapest on the Decurion Isotope Stabilizers. Some of them only cost 90 to upgrade from 322 to 324. I did that in the week 1 video. We talked about that a little bit. Alright, so I just want to make a quick note about the PvP aspect of gearing, as this is an insanely good option for gearing up. I just don't like to do PvP enough that I want to gear through it. So the first thing to note is they do have the vendor here in the combat section of Fleet that will allow you to buy your basic 316 gear, and then you can just go and do the weeklies to earn a bunch of gear. Players have definitely been finding that PvP weeklies is one of the fastest ways to gear up. Especially Galactic Starfighter is a great way to gear up. You get 10 Aquatic Resource Matrix from the weekly, you get 80 of the Thrizium Production Accelerants, you get a guaranteed upgrade crate. You also have the weekly missions for the actual PvP for Unranked, where you get another upgrade crate, some more Thrizium Production Accelerants, Aquatic Resource Matrix. Now, they have reduced the number of wins that's needed for PvP. I'm pretty sure it's at 4 right now. They do have to be wins. Galactic Starfighter, though, you don't have to get wins. So, as you can see, if you get 2 wins, you're done. You can repeat it 3 times in the week. It's a great way. One of the things that makes the PvP aspect so compelling is that the upgrade cost of the gear is a lot cheaper than the other upgrade vendors that you can go through. Now, let's get on with the rest of the video. So now let's look at where we're at. So if you're at a similar point to me, you're going to want to be farming some resources, of course. So right now, one of the options that a lot of people really like is a world boss farm. I did have a video on Bel Savis. Sometimes Bel Savis breaks, so you come to other places. It's really up to you on playing content you enjoy that's still reasonably fast. The nice thing is, the mission you kill 4 world bosses, you get 20 Aquatic Resource Matrix. Every time you kill the boss, you also get 4 Aquatic Resource Matrix. So this is just a nice way to keep that farm going. What else are we going to want to be farming for Aquatic Resource Matrix? What do we got for heroic missions this week? Well, we've got Alderaan, Balmorra, Corellia, and Nar Shaddaa. Alderaan on the pub side, it's a maybe. It's not great, but you can do it. On the imp side, it sucks. We talked about this last week. Balmorra, right in the middle, it's a maybe. It's not great, but it's not horrible. Corellia, awesome. Do Corellia on everybody. The missions that you want to pick up on Corellia. If you're on pub side, you want to pick up Biological Warfare, Starfighters of Corellia, and Concierge. If you are on the Imperial side, you want to pick up Prison Busting, Corset Crackdown, and Wookiee Revolt. Definitely having a stealth character is really going to help on both sides. If you're doing it on a non-stealther, it's a lot slower to do Corellia. Nar Shaddaa, just not great in general, so I highly suggest avoiding it. When we get down to our daily areas though, this is where things are great. My all-time favorite, CZ198. I freaking love doing this thing. It's so easy, I find it fun, it's very simple. So yeah, spam CZ198 on all your characters who are farming Aquatic Resource mats for you. There's shared tagging now. You can share that damage with other players to help get the kills. The biggest problem will be is if all the enemies are dead on your instance. Iocath is okay. I just did it today to test it out. It's down to 6 missions needed to be able to do it. So yeah, you can finish it in 1 day. You don't have to take every mission. I decided to skip the mission where you have to scan objects. It took me 30 minutes. I didn't really know what I was doing. So I think this is something that you can easily get down to 20-25 minutes. Now let's talk about Yavin 4. Yavin 4 I think is pretty good in general. It is a little bit of a longer one, but once you get a good route and a good system, it's really not that bad to do. I was planning to originally have some guides up on all the daily areas, heroics, fast ways to do it. And well, life's been really busy, so I haven't been able to really keep up with trying to get out that content that I've wanted to. The other daily area that is available is going to be the Makeb daily area, which, again, it was here last week. I do not suggest it. So that's our Aquatic Resource Matrix. Alright, so let's take a look at the upgrading that we're going to be doing this week with our crates that we have left over. So I've got a few different characters that do have Veteran Mode Flashpoint crates on them, the Elite Decurion Requisition Cache. Right now I've got 5 spread out across different characters, so I want to keep in mind that I have 5 of these, and I want to take a look and see how many pieces are not at 324 yet. So I have a lot more than 5 pieces that are not quite at 324. Now, because the Veteran Mode does cap out at 324, it's not the end of the world if you want to start opening them up now. The couple things that you need to make sure you're paying attention to before you open these crates. First is, as you swap to different characters, make sure that all of your items are at least 322. Not all classes are able to use the same main hand and offhand as you swap your gear sets around The next thing that you want to think about as well is just think about your loot discipline here. If you've picked your second combat style, you actually have all of the loot disciplines available to you. There's been some bugs with opening crates. Some people have found that they're still not getting items when opening their crates, so it's a little bit of a risky thing. It's a little bit scary, the idea of opening one of these crates you work so hard for and you don't get an upgrade. The only advice that people have been suggesting as a workaround is make sure that you pick a combat style and then manually match your loot discipline to that combat style. One thing I've been trying to find is another belt that drops from Veteran Mode Flashpoint content, because the belts take less Decurion Isotope Stabilizers to rank up than a lot of the other items. So if I get a belt, it'll be a little bit annoying right now. No, I didn't. I got a main end, so that's good. So the nice thing about being in week 2 is we're really not going to need that many aquatic resource matrix if you've already hit your 322 on all of your gear. If you haven't hit 322 yet and you plan on using a lot of aquatic resource matrix in the conquest path, yeah, you'll need quite a few. So as long as you're doing the majority of your upgrading in the Flashpoint and the Operations tree, it won't be so important to have a whole bunch of aquatic resource matrix. But you're going to need a lot of the other currencies that come specific to those, either the Decurion Isotope Stabilizers or the Hazardous Matter Catalyst. I just want to point out, to make this super clear, is all the excess gear that you're not using in your leveling up process, you really want to deconstruct this to be able to get the currencies out of it. So old 306 gear and below, it's going to give you tech frags, but 318 gear, this is conquest gear, so when I deconstruct it, I'm going to end up with the Medals of Accommodation. If I'm deconstructing gear that I got from doing Flashpoints, I'd get the Decurion Isotope Stabilizers, and deconstructing gear that comes from Operations will give me the Operations-based stuff, and same with PvP. So again, this really is part of helping your gear grind go a lot faster and getting the currency needed to upgrade pieces at the vendor, is making sure we're deconstructing those extra pieces. Feel free to upgrade a few extra pieces through the Conquest Tree vendor as well if you want to help get that boost up just a little bit faster and you don't have too many Veteran Mode Flashpoint crates. I've got some spare aquatic resource matrix right now, so I might as well go ahead and upgrade just a few more items using the Conquest path. Do make sure though that you're going in here, and if you want to save that color crystal and take out that augment so it doesn't get destroyed. And now I can go ahead and upgrade my offhand and I get my new piece. So because this is 324 gear, that's green, I'm going to be looking to shift it over into blue or purple 324 gear as soon as possible, preferably blue, just because it makes the upgrading easier. So week 2, our big focus here is getting on item rating 324, and if you need to finish any of that, item rating 322 upgrade as well. So if you're already at 324 gear, you're going to want to look at how can you progress your gear even further. Now, if you're going to stick with green gear, which is the different content listed here, you've got the Conquest gear path, you've got the Flashpoints for veteran difficulty, and you've got Operations for story. Well, you've capped out already on everything except for the Conquest gear path. So it's really going to be annoying to use those crates to get back into the Conquest gear path. It's technically possible. I'm going to make the assumption that you still want to keep playing group content and you want to move into the blues, because this is really a better place to be. Blues will give you more power and more mastery, which will allow you to do more damage, more healing, and as a tank you'll be starting to get more endurance and a little bit more of your defensive stats as well. How are we going to be getting into blue gear? Well, there's 2 places that you can get this if you're not doing the PvP route, and that's going to be from the Master Mode Flashpoints or from Veteran Operations. The Master Mode Flashpoints are actually pretty tricky right now, as they've all been shifted from being level 70 with the odd 75 to all being level 80 content. This means that your gear does matter quite a bit more, and knowing how to play your class definitely matters to be able to beat a lot of the different Master Mode Flashpoints that are available in the Activity Finder. So it's definitely a less reliable method of farming gear now. It's super unfortunate for that. But if you know what you're doing and you're willing to deal with a bit of setback and a bit of failure, you can definitely start doing some of those Master Mode weeklies to be able to get the guaranteed upgrades through a crate, as well as getting the currency. And of course, you'll still get stuff while the boss drops. Alternatively, you could always just find people who are willing to go and walk in the door on some of the easiest Master Mode Flashpoints, completely negate the weekly bonus of getting a guaranteed upgrade crate. But on the flip side, you're going to be able to actually beat those Flashpoints. You can get blue 324 gear, it'll drop the item rating you currently have on, and you'll still be getting the resources that are required to upgrade at the vendor. It's going to be a very slow path though, as it takes a crap ton of the Decurion Isotope Stabilizers to upgrade blue gear from 324 to 326. Ideally, find some guildmates, find some friends, find some people that you know are good at it. The game's always more fun if you're playing with people that you actually like. Now, myself, I'm going to be complementing that with doing the Veteran Mode Operations as well. So I will get gear directly dropped from Veteran Mode Operation bosses that will allow me to convert my 324 blues into 324 greens. And that will also allow me to get the currencies as well. So now I can get the stuff and I can upgrade. So by playing both of those, which are both content I enjoy doing, I should be able to get everything up to 326 on the blue path. The really cool thing that we can also look at doing as well, we can get Rakata gear from doing veteran mode operations. So this is the purple gear. You don't actually have to go into master modes. There's a lot of people out there farming just easy bosses on master modes. So yeah, start farming up some purple gear, and you don't actually have to complete the master modes for the upgrade crate. You can still just pick up pieces and upgrade them at the vendor using the items. There is a bit of a limitation to getting your purple gear through the veteran mode operations. People are saying that generally it's only the accessories that are dropping these pieces, so a lot of your armor will never become purple. You'll definitely have to hop into some master mode operations if you want all of your gear to become purple. Make sure that we're heading over to our legendary implant vendor when we have finished buying all the legendaries that we need for all of our characters. So you have multiple characters you play. Some of them you will definitely want to be buying them legendaries as soon as possible. Others, you're not too worried, and you might want to be considering going in here and looking for the upgrade to your existing legendaries. So I have a 326 legendary for Gathering Storm package. It lets me buy another one, or I can also upgrade my existing one to 328. While we're here, let's take a little bit of a look at what's happening with the Flashpoint queue this week. So this week, based on the missions that have come up, you can actually queue for Flashpoints as early as level 10, and the Master Mode Flashpoints, again, for whatever reason, are letting people queue at level 70. But what missions do we actually have? So Battle of Rishi, I have found that this one can actually be pretty hard if you don't have good DPS to do on Master Mode. Legacy of the Rakata, I'm not really sure. I don't consider this one as hard to do on Master Mode as Battle of Rishi, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just the experience I've had with different random groups. Crisis on Umbara, this one can be really hard for players to do on Master Mode. There is a thing where you can actually take the final Spider Droid, the final boss, out of the arena and bring him down the hill a little bit, and it makes this fight way easier, way easier. But this one is very challenging if people don't know how to do that strategy and don't know how to play very well. So yeah, it's going to be a hard one if you get it. False Emperor, I don't think False Emperor is too bad on Master Mode. This one should be pretty achievable for a lot of people. Same idea, Battle of Ilum. This is definitely one of the easier Master Mode Flashpoints. Black Talon, 100% easy. Don't worry about it. Ruins of Null, well, most people are going to leave your group if you get Ruins of Null. Let's just leave it at that. Hopefully you guys found that very informative and very helpful on some steps that you might want to be taking for week 2. So again, getting Conquest, a very easy thing to figure out to get yourself that Conquest so that you can get those Medal of Accommodations. We talked about the different ways that you can do the Aquatic Resource Matrix farming, and then we went into which are the kind of easier group content to do as solo content that farm up those Aquatic Resource Matrix. Then we talked a little bit about the upgrading process, about how to use your chests effectively, and making sure that you kind of set your loot discipline, this and that. So thanks everybody for your support. It's been really great seeing the channel grow so much. Really thank everybody who takes the time to go to the way to subscribe, put likes on the video, comments, all that stuff. Everything is great to see. I love all the engagement we're getting. And again, I still have 3 Patreons. You guys are beautiful motivation for me and great inspiration to keep working on this channel, even though it definitely doesn't make a lot of money. And another great thing is I finally got my first actual payout from YouTube. So I finally got some money. Might look into seeing how I can invest that back into doing better things on the channel, maybe buying a better webcam or getting some actual recording software that isn't really, really basic and time consuming to use. So as always, have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.